Is Canyon County building a jail expansion that won't even be staffed because of inadequate wages? The county sheriff says yes, and he's pretty mad about it. Sheriff Kieran Donahue says the county is sacrificing quality employees to add on to the jail. In the past, his office has complained that the jail has overcrowding issues, but now he says they're definitely holding their own. And he says the commissioners are taking away money that would help keep staff around, and they're doing it behind his back.
As typical of this Board of County Commissioners, outside of Tom Dale, it's typical standard operating procedure. You make the decisions, you don't share it with anyone, and you don't give us an explanation. And we're sick to death of it.
Donahue says commissioners cut cost of living increases in half for his staff, and he says he has 26 positions in training or yet to be hired. That's a lot. Many staff members are getting their training in Canyon County only to leave for better salaries in other counties.
So after that very fiery comment that was made earlier today, we asked the sheriff to come in on Fox 9 and tell us a little bit more about the problems that are going on.
It's good to have you with us, Sheriff.
Oh, thank you.
So let's start off with, a lot of people I think have heard over the last year or so that we really need more jail space.
Even longer.
We need and that's an interesting concept. We need a jail. We need a new jail. We don't need an expansion on a dilapidated building that we have today, because we're already under a federal lawsuit with the ACLU. Why would we want to build onto that and have that new expansion be part of that lawsuit? We need a jail that's going to accommodate female inmates, high security, violent crime or violent offender inmates. That's what we need. We don't need an expansion with dormitories. We have dormitory space every day in our jail. We don't use it because we're trying to work through the judiciary to keep those numbers down. Book and release programs, pretrial sentencing, alternative sentencing. So that's not the answer. The answer is look to the future and build a strategic plan of 20, 30, 40 years down the road, not 1 year down the road.
So bringing people up to speed a little bit here, the commissioners have basically already signed a contract, though, for an expansion, correct? So are your hands tied?
To some degree, yeah. It's two men can make this decision. It's not up to the public because they have the statutory authority to do so. It's not like a bond or putting it out for a bond. It's two men can make that decision.
Did they ask you your opinion?
No, not before it was ever. They still haven't really asked our opinion because we've told that we didn't know what we're talking about.
You, the sheriff, don't know what you're talking about when it comes to getting a new jail.
We've been told that by the commissioner, by Commissioner Hansen, he knows more than the sheriff. He's right and we're wrong.
What's your worst case scenario in all of this as it pans out?
Well, the worst case scenario is that they go forward and build this, which burdens the taxpayer immensely. Over 10 to 20 years, that's a $100 million deadfall that you're not going to get out of. Secondly, and as importantly, or maybe more importantly, our wages are not going to be increased for our employees countywide, but specifically the sheriff's office as well. And we're going to continue to see these people leave for better paying jobs. We're going to continue to train people, and quite frankly, we're so many people down now. Overall, we're probably down 30 people, maybe 32 people.
Wow!
And we can't.
Out of how many?
Can't sustain that. I have just over 300 people who work for us, and we can't sustain it. We can't keep public safety in check if we're not having the people stay and work for us. We can't train them. Training a law enforcement officer takes years,
right.
not a few days, a few weeks. It takes us 4 months to hire one.
And then they're being cherry-picked by other counties.
Rightfully so. I don't blame those other counties, but that's a burden on the Canyon County taxpayer. You're investing the money and watching it walk out the door.
Because you're investing the money in the training.
That's
and
right.
then
And experience.
And experience,
which
sure.
exposes our liability because we have not as experienced officers in some cases.
Does everybody pay more? I mean, give me an example.
I think so. If you have a situation where an officer is not as experienced, a long-term officer, and they make a inadequate decision or an incorrect decision, would that have been corrected by a long-term officer saying, no, I would have done that differently? Or you're paying for people to be in training all the time. Well, that's taking that experienced officer off the beat himself by saying, well, he's in here training this guy or this woman, which is great. They need that training, but you're not having them out there addressing and being proactive on crime. You're responding to crime.
Experience counts. Well, Sheriff, thanks very much. We were unable to reach the Canyon County Commissioners for comment tonight, but there is an open invitation for them to come talk about their side of the issue on Fox 9. And again, Sheriff, we appreciate you joining us tonight.
We'll keep on top of it with you.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.